Welcome to Daily Dose Radio, a 5-minute devotional podcast studying the Psalms verse by verse. Broadcast from the ever-beautiful Sharonville, Ohio, on the sunny side of Cincinnati. Hey, welcome back to Daily Dose Radio. This is your home for organic Bible study. We've been studying through the Psalms verse by verse for a long time now. We started back in 2013. We finished Volume 1, and then we just started all over again last year, and now we're in Volume 2, and today is the 306th episode, and we're studying Psalm 50, so we're a third of the way through the Psalter, and it's taken us a year and 2 months to get here, almost 2 months. So I'm so glad you've joined me on this journey. It's so much fun. It's what I like to call the Bible Segway. You know, Dr. McGee had his Bible bus. We'll just call this the Scripture Segway or the Bible Segway. Get on a little Segway with a little helmet, and beep beep, little horn on the handle there. Going down the hallway, examining each room in the Psalter verse by verse. Well, today we're in verses 7 through 10. So he's called his people to the bar. They're going to listen to God, testify against them, and speak to them. And remember, we have the witnesses of heaven and earth there. You know, God has done all of this in the presence of heaven and earth. So when the time came for him to call his people to court, he had witnesses. And that's why they're there. We begin in verse 7. Verse 7 is marvelous with a capital marvel. Hear, O my people, and I will speak. O Israel, and I will testify against thee. I am God, even thy God. I will not reprove thee for thy sacrifices, or thy burnt offerings to have been continually before me. I will take no bullock out of thy house, nor he-goats out of thy folds. For every beast of the forest is mine, and the cattle upon 1,000 hills. Hear, O my people, and I will speak. That's how he begins here. So everybody's silent because you're his, and therefore you're going to listen to what he has to say. I will speak, O Israel. Notice that name that he uses here. He doesn't call him Jacob. He calls his people who are in covenant with him Israel, because that's who he went into covenant with. I will testify against you. I am God, even thy God. So that takes us back to Exodus chapter 20. I am the Lord thy God that brought thee up out of the land of bondage, out of the house of slavery, you see. So he reminds them, this is who I am. I am God, even your God. So I have a right to say what I am about to say. And then he says, kind of the opposite of what we might think. We might think he's going to say, you've done wrong, and here's what you've done. He says, I will not reprove thee for thy sacrifices or thy burnt offerings, this is verse 8, to have been continually before me. And then you'll notice 9 and 10, I take no bullock out of your house, no goat out of your folds, for every beast of the forest is mine, and the cattle upon 1,000 hills. See, God isn't interested in the sacrifices. He never was interested in the sacrifices. What he wants is he wants the contrite heart. He wants the humble heart. But what we do is we make gods out of our religious practice. We make idols out of the thing that's supposed to draw us near to God. And when we do that, we have lost the entire force of what that thing was meant to do for us. And so they're fine with having their sacrifices. They're fine with all the prescriptions, and they're fine with all of the method and all the way to do it. They're fine with all of that. And they're doing it continually. God says, I don't want your bulls and I don't want your goats. He said, I've got all the beasts of the field. If I want one, the cattle on 1,000 hills are mine. So why would I ask for something from you? What he wants is the heart. Join me again tomorrow. We're going to look at verses 11 through 15 on Daily Dose Radio. Thanks for listening to Daily Dose Radio. I'm David Smith. The music today has been performed by the Bluegrass Experiment. Thanks again for listening. I'll see you next time on Daily Dose Radio.